Good Friday afternoon. This is Morten from Inkish. What a busy week. I am pretty sure that most of us have seen or read about the situation about Landa. And uh, the, I would say that when we wrote based on two Israeli articles already Sunday evening when Landa looked for protection via the courts in Tel Aviv. I was I was just, I was happy that we were among the first, which is not important in itself, but quite amazed to see how many media that has referred from the same articles as we did, but also put things into these that I can't read anywhere. I think there's a lot of guessing. I think there's a lot of told you so's. I think there's a lot of opinions about Landa, because Landa has been so good marketing the Landa and the Nanography that it's probably made a lot of people very opinionated about the Landa technology and the Landa machines. I think that made somebody say that, well, we told you it would never really, you would never succeed, which I think is a shame. And I think it's a shame for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think that we do need disruptors and innovative people in the industry. And there is a little bit like, come on, guys, it is a technology that is maybe not 100% where it should be, but it's a technology that is starting to get some attention in the market, and some customers have invested, and the customers that we have talked to, some of them also say that they make money on the machines, which essentially is the very reason for investing in technology when we are looking at investing at all. So what is up and down in this case now? Well, the case is, as far as I see it, that Skion, the Susanne Klatten BMW lady that started the investing as investment as a large investor together with Benny Landa, and also together with the Tetra Pak family invested in Landa. They spent a shitload of money on getting this technology to market, and there has been a spin-off that nobody really been talking about so far, and that is the spin-off that also Susanne Klatten's company Artica acquired, the EcoFlex system, which was like a promise to use similarly spin-off technologies from the nanography machines to make foils and cold foils into something that, according to them, should be more sustainable compared to what we normally see in this field. That I will have to look into. I'm curious whether there is any consequences of the potential closing of Landa. And I say potential because what they actually seek for was a protection from a bankruptcy, and they got 2 weeks to negotiate and see if they could get a restructuring of the company. I think that Landa is in a situation with a tremendously big debt, more than $500 million, and a very tiny little revenue. First wrote $7.5 million in revenue, which was obviously not true. I'm not sure that they have announced anything yet, but now the numbers that I've seen, the latest, are in the range of 35-40 million dollars, right? And that is still not enough, because one of the reasons why Skion decided not to keep on investing is not just that the Susanne Klatten stepped down from owning the company and handed over to her kids, but also because the projections of the future would be up to 2030 before a break even of the company. So that's, of course, a huge time span to look into. It's obvious that when a new management, a new ownership makes a decision that they don't want to invest more money in Landa, that when it is the largest or second largest or third largest investor, uh, this is not something that you can easily replace overnight. So obviously they had to do something. I would say that I found it a little bit strange that I think it's only like 2 weeks before the announcements that I saw in various media about laying off 100 people at Landa, or more than 100 people at Landa, was not. I mean, it indicated that they needed to reconstruct the company, restructure the company, but it was also like, don't worry, we are on track, we are managing things, and then a couple weeks later, then it's like all up in the air, to be honest, and. One thing is that the company itself and its employees, of course, are influenced by this. But think of all the people that actually invested in the Landa technology. I don't know exactly. I have spoken to a few of them, but it is a dire situation because what happens if, let's say, that worst case scenario that Landa goes out of business? I think these companies will only be able to operate these very technology driven machines for a very short time. And I don't think that you can easily get technicians and spare parts that will be able to serve the machines, even if you even if you employed some of the technicians already on site. I don't think that would be an opportunity. And then, of course, the next big question is that the so-called data room that was opened by the Japanese bank that is now managing the assets and trying to make the reconstruction. They opened the data room, which I assume is the operation of Landa, the patents, the technology, the all the things that at least potential investors should have as a minimum of data to make decisions to offer a price for acquiring the company. Um, I don't think that is enough time for a proper due diligence. There might be people working very hard on that right now, but I think it's relatively easy. It's assets in the company of about $127 million, debt 4.5, 5 times bigger, and a revenue that is only a fraction of that. I mean, nobody, and I think I can say that quite certain, nobody will take over the company as it is. They will buy out assets or the company where the creditors are downwriting the money owned to a fraction. Um, and it needs to be done fast because obviously the employees are in situations where they might look into other job positions, and the machines in field needs to be serviced in order to keep running. So this is something that needs to be taken care of fast, and I guess that's why the 2 weeks period has been the most important part of it. And I know there's a little bit different wordings in the world, but some of the LinkedIn groups have called it a bankruptcy. As far as I know, it's not a bankruptcy yet. It's more like, if you want to refer to anything that is in the English vocabulary or in the American ways of doing business, I think it's a Chapter 11, where you're basically protected uh, by the court until the people that are working on the reconstruction come up with conclusions. So the people that write that they started to sell off assets at a fraction of the price, I would be I would be a little cautious. I have, after I saw it today and yesterday, looked a little bit around on the internet. It's difficult to find hard evidence that that is what is going on right now. Um, so what happens now? Well, before the 2 weeks run out on, not on Sunday but next Sunday, I think there will be some companies that will give the Japanese bank an offer, and then the highest bidder will probably win this bid, and they will then guarantee for whatever they take over. Uh, and a lot of a lot of you guys have also written that HP is among the bidders, and I'm not questioning that. I have no inside knowledge about that either. But again, HP is a public company, so I don't think they disclose these kind of things, at least not at current time. They might do that when they have done the deal or it's been. So I would also be cautious about judging who could be the potential buyers. As far as I know right now, it is Koenig and Bauer, it's HP, it's Fujifilm, it's Brother, Xerox, and Canon that has access to the data room evaluating the assets. Mm, I would be surprised if Canon looks into this because Canon, developed their own technology and they have the IV7 is around the corner, a B2 machine. And I mean, if B1 at all is of interest, why shouldn't they be looking into that themselves rather than investing in Landa almost at whatever price because it is competitive? It's competing printheads, it's a competing technology, and I don't think that Canon really needs that right now. Then Brother is a dark horse, but who knows? Fujifilm, they are investing a lot of money in becoming a big player in the printing industry, and as they are the supplier of the printheads already, maybe, but I also find that not so likely because as you can see, a lot of the technology by Fujifilm is developed through partnerships and then rebranded. So that will change their business models. I mean, I know they produce some stuff, but some stuff they don't produce themselves. Koenig and Bauer, they are already very far with Koenig Bauer Durst on the Varijet. And I would say I was surprised when I saw the name popping up on the list, but I actually spoke to friends a few days before saying that, well, could they be interested in looking into it? And I would say that in a way that would be a very bold move for an offset supplier to look into. I don't know if it's a shortcut to faster inkjet, but it is definitely something that would surprise me if they are seriously looking into. Xerox, they just acquired Lexmark, and I don't know if they at all have an interest in the production segment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think they have an interest in the production segment, but I'm not so sure that they are interested in investing in something that probably still needs a shitload of money before they have a technology that can be delivered into the market. And then we have HP left. See, HP is also a dark horse because in a way I don't think they really need it. On the other hand, there is a couple of reasons why they could be interested in this anyway. If you look at the Indigo and how that works, the very essence of how an Indigo works and how a Landa machine works are very similar. It's an indirect print. They print on a belt or they print on a blanket, and then that is transferred to the paper. Both of them are using similar technology of having a kind of a polymer print, then are then transferred to the paper. So a lot of similarities. And you can think about why should they be interested in that? Well, if the price is low enough, of course they could speculate in finalizing the technology like they did with the Indigo and bring it to market and maybe reinvent themselves when it comes to inkjet. But it could also be that they are not so interested in any competitors having a similar technology. So they just buy it, take the patents, put them in the drawers, and forget about it. It's a wild guess, but I don't think it's 1,000% unrealistic, to be honest. So have that in mind. And of course, all of these also potential acquisitions, I'm not 1,000% sure that it ensures the customers who already have landed technology. It will, of course, be possible that that a buyer will negotiate a deal where they can serve the customers. But again, that depends on the strategy, on what they want with the technology. Do they want to use it for developing something on their own? Do they want to continue with the current platform? Or do they want to eliminate the nanography from the market? I think there's the three options basically, right? So that is the dark horse so far. So this is just my opinions. I have no inside information. I read the same Israeli magazines as you do. I think that CTech has got a lot of views from the international media the past couple of weeks, and it's always a magazine that seems to be very updated on what's going on in Israel. I will just, however, add a little side note to this that has not been mentioned so much in the past weeks either, and that is, as you know, Highcon, the Israeli Highcon, that with the laser die cutting, also is in a reconstruction mode, actually bankrupt and being also in negotiation. The major shareholder used to be, or I don't know how that actually works in that in between period, but was also Landa or Landa's companies. And I don't know if this influences, let's say, the process also of the reconstruction of Landa. And I would also say that, of course, the war in the Middle East, which is right in this very moment, seems to be a little bit down, but still, I still think there's like legit threats and considerations that the market will still not be out of that war situation between Iran and Israel, and also the Gaza conflict. This requires that the doors are open for exporting and production of the technology, of course, or that it can be produced elsewhere. And this is again also in relation to the global situation where on July 9th the tariffs will either be negotiated or reinitiated from the reciprocal, I can't say that word, the famous Trump word for the tariffs that are posed to everybody. And right now the situation is that it is way more expensive for Americans to buy printing presses from the outside compared to anything produced internally. But it's not easy to transfer technology and make that possible to be being produced, because if you look at a Landa machine, just as an example, the frame paper transport is Komori, the print heads are Fujifilm, and I mean, so the dryers are I think it's Harrison Bruno or Atfos. I mean, there's so many components from so many different places. But even if it was moved to the US to being produced, there'll be so many components that will be imported from so many different places that I doubt that it will be sellable because of the price. Because if you have a $4 million press and it increases further 25% in prices, it will be difficult to justify for a printer to buy. Of course, the Americans will suffer now because the high exchange rate from dollars to euros and the high tariffs from Japan to and also from Europe to the US will simply just make everything way more expensive for American printers. And I think when you look at the Landa machine, quite a lot of the customers are obviously in the US. So that, of course, also influences the potential buyers look into whether this is a fantastic opportunity or it is maybe a lost opportunity and for different times in history. That is to be seen. Thank you for listening.